Okay, I'm back for another video. Hope you enjoy it. Which is a deep place. Last Shabbat, last Shabbos, I had a little breakfast with my wife and a cup of coffee. She said, "Let's learn something." So we learned a little Likutei Moharan, the teachings of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. And it really inspired me to think about some different things, and I wanted to put out another video. For anybody that is watching my videos out there, thank you much for that. Please share them and like them. So Rabbi Nachman begins with this pasuk from Tehillim 12, from the Psalms. Saviv Rasha'im, that round about us are the wicked ones, vitlechun, and they walk about round about us all this. Ki yasitra achra mesavevet kedusha, because the other side, the dark side, surrounds the holiness. Ki adzeh lumat ze'asa, and he brings now a pasuk from Ecclesiastes from Kohelet. God made one contrast to the other. This is particularly so for someone who has already been drawn after evil desires and has made his place, God forbid. They surround him from every side, and his spirit be aroused to return to God. He finds it difficult to pray, study, and speak before God words worthy of being received with fear and love. Okay, so a person goes after things that are not good in his life. He gets caught up in sinful ways, and it comes around him, this darkness. He finds himself in this place where it's difficult then to reach out to God, to speak to Hashem, to daven with yera and ava, with fear and love, for they surround him on every side, each according to his circumstance as above. Now, because it is impossible for him to say anything before God with fear and love, with befitting vitality, all the words and prayers that he does speak are incapable of breaking through the dividing partitions and screens into a send above. So between where I am now, where the Ribono Shel Olam, where God is, there's great separation, and my prayers can't get up there because all this darkness, we call in Kabbalistic terms, we call it the klipot. Klipot are like the shell of a nut or the peel of a fruit or something like that. There's something live inside, but it's surrounded by something dead. They remain below, beneath the screens, until his deserving returns in truth and speaks words that are being received with fear and love from the depth of his heart with great arousal. Then the illuminating words break through all the dividing partitions and screens and elevates together with all the words which until now remain below. Okay, that's nice. But how do I get there? Right? How do I get there? I'm in a dark place. Right? And I want to speak to God. But how do I get there? How does one do this? The main thing upon everything depends is truth. Now, it's very important to this lesson is know that the Hebrew word for truth is emet. Aleph, men, taf. Right? To go in the way of truth commensurate with one levels. For the seal of Hashem, the seal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is truth. It's foundation upon everything. He quotes here Midrash, Bereshit Rabbah. Emet is the beginning, the middle, and the end. So literally, the word emet, aleph, the very first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, mem, which is not exactly the middle, but very close to the middle, and then taf, the very end of the Hebrew alphabet. So aleph, mem, taf. Emet, truth. It's because emet is the beginning. So emet encompasses you from the beginning, the middle, the end. Because he's on the level of truth, the light of God himself, whose seal is truth, is then, so to speak, enclosed in him. So a person is in this dark place. He needs God to come down into his life. And then the light of God shines forth from inside of the person. Then it is said of him, Hashem Ori v'Yishai, right? Psalm 27, God is my light and my salvation. And because God is his light, he is able to find many openings from which he depart the darkness and exile in which he is enclosed. For the truth, there are many openings, as the sages say, right? It comes here from the Gemara, Menachot, When someone comes to defile himself, they open up for him many openings. So a person wants to, I'm tired of living a godly life. I want to go after bad things. There are a lot of openings, different ways you can do it. Right? Wide is the gate. Right? Wide is the path that leads to darkness. And since there are many openings, he's able to depart. But if there's many openings to get in, there must be many openings to get out. But you can't see them because you're in darkness, so you don't see the openings. So what you need is the light of God to come inside of you. Right? As is written in Kohelet again, Rak hakasil b'choshik holech. Only the fool walks about in darkness. He will not see the openings to depart. He is imprisoned and bound there. He will not be allowed to depart until he merits speaking words of truth, emet, before God. Then the words illuminate, and God is his light is above. So let's put Rabbi Nachman to the side down. Good, some of the things. So if we think about this in the form of the Exodus from Egypt, Yetziat Mitzrayim, we're surrounded in darkness of Egypt. All around us, this darkness was enclosing on us. We cried out to Hashem, and Hashem heard our cry. In what merit? Right? Is a chut. In what merit did God hear our cry? I think the merit is this. Right? Karov Hashem lakol karav. Hashem is close to all who call upon him. Kol shekarav alav be'emet. Right? Psalm 145. All who call upon him in truth. So we're in Mitzrayim. We're surrounded by the Egyptians. We're surrounded by all this paganism, all this darkness, this avodah zara, all these evil things. And we cry out to Hashem, and Hashem hears our cry. Not because we were keeping kashrut, not because we were keeping Shabbos, not because we were doing all these great things. But we cried out to him in truth. Kro Hashem lakol karav. Hashem is close to all who call about him in truth. So that was the emet. So what is emet? Yeshua said, I am the truth. Ani I emet. So we started thinking about that. Especially this thing where it talks about in the Midrash that Rabbi Nachman just brought, and that I just quoted from Rabbi Nachman here, is what emet is: the beginning, the middle, and the end. Now we know that Mashiach is referred to as the beginning and the end, right? If you've read Book of Revelation, you know that Yeshua is referred to as I am the Alpha and the Omega. That's nice in Greek, and it's good, right? You can say he's the A and the Z or something. That's also good. It's not bad. But if you say it in Hebrew, it takes on a whole different thing. If I say that I am the Aleph and the Taf, Yeshua says I'm the Aleph and the Taf, right? Then wait a minute. All things came to be through him. Well, we know all things came into being through the Aleph and the Taf. That's how it's written. Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created. There's this funny Hebrew word that doesn't really translate. Aleph Taf. Et. S, if you're Ashkenazi, right? Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But there's this funny Hebrew word in there. It's Aleph Taf. All things came to be into being through the Aleph and the Taf. So, where do I go from here? Mashiach is there at the very beginning, the Aleph and the Taf. In fact, the second pasuk of the entire Torah is what? The land was formless and void, and there was darkness on the face of the deep. And Ruach Elokim merachefet al panei hamayim, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. So this is Bereshit Rabbah. Fortunately, I had to find it on the internet, and since I'm using my smartphone to make this video, so I wrote it down. Bereshit Rabbah. Right? Amar Shimon ben Lakish. Patakriya. Right? Begaliot. He's explaining this pasuk according to exiles. Haretz hayita tohu. This is the tohu was this, I don't know, formlessness or something like that. This is the exile above that, right? And he quotes here a pasuk from Yirmiyahu. Riti et haaretz hine tohu. So Yirmiyahu was having this vision of the upcoming exile into Bavel. And he says, this is the exile of Bavel, Tohu. Bohu, the next one, formless and void or something, I don't know how you translate it exactly. This is a Galut Medi, right, the Midian, right, exile. And he quotes here a pasuk from Megillat Esther. Be'alu le'avi et Haman. And Be'alu is kind of related to the word Bahu, right? Not even sure how to translate that exactly, but okay. Choshek Yavan. All right, so the darkness is the exile of Yavan, right? We're coming up on Hanukkah. Hanukkah happens at the darkest time of the year, right? At the end of the month, when the moon is going down, in the days of the shortest, and the darkest night, and we have the Festival of Lights. So the Festival of Lights to celebrate our victory over the exile of Choshek, which is Yavan, which is the Greeks. Because what do? They that it blinds your eyes because of their philosophy and stuff like that. Blinds your eyes and you can't see with the eyes of faith, right? And then finally is the final one is Tahu, the exile of depths. And it says here, She'en lehem cheker, because you can't search it out, because how deep is deep? You don't know. There's no way to search out depths. And as far as the depths of the oceans go, and all our science and technology that we have nowadays, we're still searching and searching and searching. How deep does deep go? Ruach Elokim, Zehu Ruach Rucho Shel Mashiach Sidkenu. And he quotes here Yeshayahu, Isaiah 11, which I'll read. Right? V'nacha alav ruach Hashem, and rested upon him the spirit of Hashem, ruach chokhmah, the spirit of wisdom, of binah, right? Wisdom and understanding, ruach etzah, the spirit of counsel, gevurah, and strength, ruach da'at, the spirit of knowledge, yirat Hashem, and the spirit and the fear of Hashem. So this is a description of Mashiach. He pulls us out. And here it is. So here's the Aleph and the Tav in the second pasuk of the Torah. The entire history is laid out from all of our exiles to the redemption of Mashiach. Ruach Elokim merachefet al panei hamayim. Right, the Spirit of God hovered above the waters. It's all right there. Okay, so that's the Aleph in the top. But where's the Mem come in? So the fascinating, really, really cool Zohar from Parashat Pinchas. So it is written, and Pinchas saw, he took a spear in his hand. Okay. What did he see? And so he answers, he saw a letter Mem flying through the sky. And this letter is a sign of the angel of death, the Malach HaMavet. For the Mem wants to build with the other letters Vav and Taf. Mem, Vav, Taf is the word Mavet, which means death in Hebrew. So, what did Pinchas do? For he was tired with Yitzchak. Okay, so anybody knows Gematria? Pinchas is sometimes spelled with a yud, sometimes spelled without a yud. Okay, if it's spelled with a yud, the Gematria is 208, which is the same Gematria as Yitzchak. Now, what did Yitzchak do? Yitzchak was the one who gave himself up on the altar, so he was 208. Pinchas is also 208. So it's saying here that Pinchas enclosed himself with the spirit of Yitzchak in order to die to himself, in order to right? He then took the letter Mem and he snatched it away from the Malach HaMavet and joined it to himself. So Pinchas takes this letter Mem, he joins it to himself. All right? And when the angel of death saw that Pinchas had taken the Mem to himself, he immediately turned back. What is the reason beside this? And so Pinchas is 208. And the Hebrew word for spear is romach. Now, romach is Resh Mem Chet. And we take this beginning letter and the last letter, there's Resh and Chet, we get 208. It's the same as Pinchas. And what's in the middle? Mem. The Mem of Mavet, the Mem of death. So Pinchas takes a spear in his hand. The Zohar reads, no, he took himself, 208, that's him, that's his identity, and put the Mem inside of himself. He took Mem and placed it inside of himself. So he didn't take the Romach in his hand so much as he took the letter Mem, the Mavet. He took the death inside of himself. Because the letter Mem was the first mark that Adam, that death was ordained over the world. Right? She took from the fruit thereof, Maprio. Right? So Vetakach Maprio. And Vetakach is what? Vav Taf. And then Maprio, Mem. Vayam Machaka Vav Taf. V'zamanav dachtiv v'tochel v'titen. Vav Taf. So Mavet. Death. Right? So when they first did the sin of Gan Eden, the Zohar sees here, there's this remez, there's this hinting at this, pointing us to this death that's being brought into the world. And thus was death, Mavet, brought into the world. Okay, so now Pinchas, therefore, is 208. Ramach is 208 with a mem inside of it. That's Ramach. So Pinchas takes upon himself that, and by doing that, what does he do? He turns away Hashem's anger. Okay, so Hashem's anger is turned away. What are the letters of Mashiach? Letters of Mashiach are Aleph and Taf, right? I am the beginning and the end, the Aleph and the Taf. What happens when Mashiach takes death into himself? He takes the Mem into himself. So now where are we at? Now we have Aleph, Mem, Taf. Mashiach takes death into himself. That's the Emet. That is the truth. That is the only truth. Mashiach, Aleph in the Taf, the beginning and the end, takes the Mem of Mavet, the death, into himself. And that, my friends, is the truth. That is the only truth. And that is the only way by which we can be saved. By understanding the as best we can. And crying out to Hashem in truth. When we cry out to Hashem in truth, we're connected to Emet. And what is Emet? Mashiach, Aleph and Taf, taking Mavet into himself. So everybody who cries out to Hashem in truth cries out in Emet. They're connected to the only true Emet. The Mashiach Zidkenu, the Aleph, the Taf, the beginning and the end, has swallowed up the Mem, and so death will be swallowed in victory. Krov Yamenu, until we see him coming in his kavod, riding upon the Ananei kavod, riding upon the clouds of heaven, one like the Son of Man, and the sound of the shofar. Krov Yamenu. Wish everybody a happy Hanukkah if you're watching this close to when I'm putting it out. Have a wonderful day.